Hi, my name is Nicholas Hill. I'm the Director of Enablement at Crunchbase, and I'm excited to show you how you can use the Crunchbase platform to find up-and-coming startups as an investor. Now, for the purposes of this demo, let's assume that I'm an investment analyst at a venture capital fund that is primarily interested in Latin America startups that are in the fintech space. There are a number of ways that I can quickly and easily use Crunchbase to put together that list. The first is through our personalized homepage. Now, if you take a look at our homepage, you see that we have this Discover tab here. So let's quickly narrow this down by location. So I'm going to say Latin America, industry, let's say fintech, and what signals we want to see. So here I can go in and say, I'm primarily interested in startups that are predicted to raise funding or grow. I'm interested in startups that have been growing, and I'm interested in seeing any underlying signals that might tell me that this company is worth my attention. So that could be something like a partnership announcement, a product launch, an award, or a key employee change. So within just a few clicks, I've personalized the Discover tab of my homepage, and this will always stay saved and up to date for me. So every time I log in, I'm going to see lists of organizations that I may care about and what's going on with them. Now, the second thing that I can do to build this list is to use Crunchbase's AI search companion, Scout. Now, Scout is able to search with plain text through hundreds of different Crunchbase filters. So let's take a look at how this works. The first thing I'm going to do is ask Scout to find up-and-coming startups that are in Latin America that are strongly likely to grow over the next 6 months. Now, Scout is searching through millions of companies, so it can sometimes take a few seconds to pull up results. I'm going to pause this video and come back as soon as these results are loaded. Okay, so now that we've got our results, let's go ahead and continue to have a conversation with Scout so that we can refine this search and narrow down our list, because you see that it came up with over 1,000 results, and we want to focus our attention a little bit further. So let's ask Scout a follow-up question. Let's ask Scout to narrow down this list to only startups that have over 10 million in total funding so far with at least 50 employees. Now, we can see here that Scout was able to refine our existing list, and now we have 179 results. And notice that it gives us some of the top companies that we may be interested based on this list. Now, let's refine this one final time, and I can continue to have conversations with Scout if I want to, but we forgot to put in our industry focus. So let's go ahead and say, continue to refine this to only companies that are in the financial or fintech space. Now, immediately Scout has refined our list even further down to 83 total results, and we've really been able to hone in on our investment criteria. Now, let's go ahead and take a look at this list. If I click View All 83 Results, you'll notice it takes us to Crunchbase's AI Search Builder. Now, because we've been having a conversation with Scout, it has already auto-built all of the different filters that we've asked it to build so far, but we can continue to add filters directly from this page. And we can do filters or queries. So I'm going to go ahead and add a company filter. And let's say that we're only interested in companies that have an estimated revenue range of over $1 million. So we're going to do 1 to 10, 10 to 50, and 50 to 100 million. And immediately we've nearly cut our list in half here, and we have 49 results remaining. Now, once I have my list, there are a couple of things that I can do with it. First, I can add any enriched data from Crunchbase into my table. So a lot of people want to manipulate this table, prioritize this table, maybe export it into a CSV. So what I'm going to do is enrich it with some additional info. If I go to Edit Table, you'll notice there are tons of different categories of information that I could add. Let's go to funding. As an investment analyst, it's probable that I would want to see the last funding date, last funding amount and type, maybe the number of funding rounds they've raised, the total funding amount. And then I'm also interested in the investors themselves. So who are their top investors, lead investors, and how many investors do they have? So again, within just a few clicks, I'm able to apply these changes. And now you'll notice I have all of that information on my table. And I could continue to refine this or add to this however I want. Once I have this list, let's go ahead and save this search so that we never have to make it again. So I'm going to go ahead and click Save Search. I'll say Nix LATAM FinTech Companies. And notice that Crunchbase allows me to set an email alert. So I want Crunchbase to email me every single morning for any major events within this list, any funding events within this list, and especially any new additions to this list. And what that allows me to do is get that competitive advantage. It allows me to beat other investors or funds to the market so that I can reach out to these companies quickly about investment opportunity or partnership opportunity. So we're going to go ahead and now save this search. The last thing that I can do if I want is I can save this entire list to an organization list. So this is slightly different than my search because what it allows me to do is monitor this on my home page. So I'm going to go ahead and hit create new list, and we'll say, again, LATAM FinTech targets. And I won't do any additional email alerts. We've already done that with our saved search. But the benefit of turning this into a list is now if I go back to my home page, I can go to Your Saved Companies as a tab, and I can narrow it down to just my LATAM FinTech targets list. And I can ask it to show me any predictions, insights, or news that is occurring within this list. So hopefully within the last few minutes, I've shown you that you can quickly use Crunchbase to personalize your homepage, stay up to date on any potential investment targets, build lists, refine those lists, enrich those lists with Crunchbase data, save them and get email alerts, and ultimately keep you up to date and ahead of your competitors as you start to think about your next big investment opportunity.